genocidal campaign that I have ever witnessed in my life. Do not bother with them. Come over here and listen to the speakers we've got today. People who have a strong moral standing because they're standing against a genocide and who it's worth listening to. All right. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Make some noise. Thank you everyone for coming. My name is Wissam. I'm an organizer with Justice for Palestinians. I want to thank all of you all for coming out today and for coming out week after week. I want to thank, of course, our Indigenous allies, our Jewish allies who are here today, allies from many different communities, and all of the speakers who have agreed to speak today. If I could ask for everyone who's on the official speakers list to make their way up to the platform over here on my right. Just sort of identify yourself to the volunteers in the vests over there, please. Right. First things first, we're standing against colonialism, not just in Palestine, but right here. And in that spirit, I want to acknowledge and pay tribute to the fact that we are here on the traditional territories of the peoples of Treaty 7, which include the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nations. The city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. We're standing here against genocide, against colonial genocide, and we recognize that right here on this land is a state very similar to the Israeli state, a state that was built on ethnic cleansing and genocide, and we stand in solidarity with its victims. I also want to thank our volunteers, donors from the community, and everyone who has made this event possible. We are Justice for Palestinians. We're an organization that was formed in 2005 to support the 2009 to support the Palestinian call for boycott, divestment, and sanctions against the Israeli state, and to stand in solidarity with the Palestinian liberation struggle. We are here to support the people of Palestine in their just cause, fighting for their liberation against the Israeli state, and we've been people for decades. I want to give a special thanks before we begin to the volunteers from JFP and all of the people who have been here week after week. Seriously guys, these people are some of the most hardworking people I know. Great people like Simon, yeah? People like, I can go name by name, there's so many people here, I can't even name them all, but honestly everyone with the vests, all of the faces you recognize. People are getting sick from our group as well. People are getting exhausted, but we're not going away. People are still here, and they're taking it upon themselves to help lead this struggle here in Calgary and do these extremely important events. So I just wanted to say, we've been here week after week after week for many weeks now, and we're not going away as long as this continues, and it hasn't ended. So as long as this continues, we're still going to be here. And I just want to shout out those tireless volunteers in our community, and of course all of you who have been here week after week as well. We know that it's difficult, but this is an important struggle. This is the most important struggle of our lifetimes right now. So it's important that we all stay here. And I want to shout out all of you for your strength and your support for Palestine. All right. I'm going to introduce, there's so many people. Every one of you deserves a round of applause, to be honest. I want to now introduce Wendy Walker. Wendy Walker is an Indigenous artist and activist. She has long been involved in issues impacting not only Indigenous peoples, but also non-Indigenous communities. Wendy is one of the original organizers for Idle No More here in Calgary. She was also instrumental in organizing Occupy Wall Street, and she, along with other activists, took over Olympic Plaza and held it for weeks. They moved in with their tents and they held their ground. Wendy has long connected with Palestinian issues and has in the past spoken out about atrocities being committed on Palestinian land and the genocide of its people. Please welcome Wendy Walker, everybody.
I'm grateful to be asked to come and do the opening for you today. And so, in a good way, with open hearts, I'm going to pray, and I'm going to ask you in your own way to also pray, and to pray hard, because we need some hard prayers going out. Nagawin kitsimani tu, kinaska mota na noche, wachihi na mina noche, asene ma etato, itaskino. Also, I paid homage to the land first, and Creator grandfathers, all who are come before, all who will come after. We give thanks this day for an opportunity to walk one more day on our Mother Earth. We give thanks for the safety of our families who are here. We give thanks and ask Creator that you bless each person who has shown up here today, and that you bless their families. Creator, I also ask with a humble heart that you have compassion, and you show the way to those leaders who are making those decisions about war in Gaza, what's happening to the people in West Bank, and to all oppressed people across this earth. We stand together today as brothers and sisters because we know, Creator, you put all of us on this earth. You didn't put one race over another. You put everything into a circle so that when we stand together as the earth or as the moon, that we are in circle, and that no one is above and no one is below. We are all equal. We are all brothers and sisters. Today, Creator, we ask that you be with our Palestinian brothers and sisters. May they get everything that they need. May the ceasefire happen. May Palestinian people be safe, and more importantly, Creator, may they be free. I give thanks to you, Nitayo Hoyasin Hayayasimana.
Stay up here for a moment, Wendy. Kathy, I'm going to invite Kathy to come up and show our appreciation for Wendy for being here. Welcome, Kathy. Thank you. All right, so let's get on with the program. We've got a few speeches, and then we've got a very special march route prepared for you all today. So first of all, just a bit of housekeeping. We're going to be hearing from some members of our community first, and then we're going to march through the streets of Calgary together to call for justice. We want to remind everyone to maintain a peaceful environment and to focus on our shared cause. Avoid engaging in confrontations. That includes confrontations with those folks back there, and obviously confrontations with the police. We want to encourage people to prioritize unity. Remember that we're here to show solidarity for Palestine and to pressure the institutions of government of this country to do what they have failed to do, despite people across the country calling for it, and call for an end to the genocide in Gaza. So that's what we're here for. Please continue to spread the message about these rallies. We had over 3,000 people attend last week. This must be a typo. I'm pretty sure it was more like 4,000 last week. You can sign up for our email updates and follow us on social media. We'll have volunteers with QR codes going through the crowd with more information. If you'd like to donate to Justice for Palestinians, we would greatly appreciate it. It helps us continue to do what we're doing. If you'd like to make a donation, please visit the resource table just over there. And we accept cash or e-transfer over there. Donations cover costs associated with organizing these events, such as printing, supplies, logistics, sound systems, equipment, things like that. But note, we are not collecting funds for Palestine. That's not what we do. This is just for organizing the political work here. So we won't be collecting any funds ourselves for Palestine. There are many other organizations that are doing that kind of donation collection. I'm going to announce the march route now, just so everyone's aware. We're not marching off quite yet, but I do want to let people know where we're going to be today. Many of you will have seen what happened last week, and I'm going to get to that. But we've got a route that I think is going to pay a bit of tribute to the people who from our supporters, endured some very unkind treatment last week. So we're going to be, when the march begins, we're going to be marching up McLeod Trail. We are going to get to 5th Avenue and turn right to cross across the bridge at 5th Avenue. We'll then be turning left and doubling back on the 4th Avenue bridge. When we get there, when we cross the bridge, we're going to reach 4th and McLeod, and we're going to pause there for 5 minutes as a show of solidarity and commemoration for what happened there last week. and I will get to that, as I said. And then we're going to continue down 1st Street from 4th Avenue, and then come back along Stephen Ave to City Hall, where we'll be having our open mic, just as we did last week. When we set off, we're going to exit from that ramp down there and then turn up north on McLeod. Okay? Everyone clear on that? Yeah. Good, okay. I know most of you don't remember half of what I just said, but that's okay. We'll be reminding you. We'll be reminding you before we go. Okay, so before we begin, I will be asking that you give us a few minutes to get our volunteers organized and such, and then we'll let you know, we'll announce when we're ready to begin marching. Please stay with us. We have a designated march route. We strongly encourage everyone to stay on that route. And then we'll be coming back here from an open mic where you'll all have a chance to address the crowd. We want to ask for people to please not continue marching after we have returned. We want to ensure the safety of our community. We are stronger together. We are safer together. And frankly, a lot of those young voices who weren't with us at the open mic last week, I think need to be heard on this mic. I think that energy and that frustration needs to be heard by this community and by this city. So I really strongly encourage everyone to come and participate in that open mic with us. And last bit of housekeeping, please be considerate of people around you. If you've got any of those smoke things, look, like I love the smoke things, but a lot of people don't, all right? So please don't set them off, or if you set them off, like do them away from people. People have respiratory issues and things like that. There's legal questions involved with those smoke bombs as well, but just look, if you're gonna do them, just do them away from people. Don't get them all up in people's faces, all right? Right, and then lastly, we have some first aid volunteers with us here. I'll ask the first aid people to come up. So they have first aid training. If there's any issues with first aid, these are the 3 people that you can look out for. So we've got Nautilus, put your hand up, Nautilus, Nabiha, and Fatima. All right, so these are your first aid people. Yeah, that's right. Hey, we've had a ton of excellent volunteers, and these are a few of them, with first aid training. So thank you. Look out for these people on the march or at any point today. Thanks. That said, let me give my brief speech before we get on to the speakers here. So we remember why we're here today, yeah? The death toll in this ongoing genocide is now at over 14,000, over half of whom are women and children. Shame, shame indeed. Shame. In the last week, and this is some good news, in the last week in Canada, the cities of London, Mississauga, and Victoria have called for a ceasefire. And just a few days ago, Edmonton's mayor did the same. There are some halfway sensible people in this country, in government in this country. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that any of them work at this building behind me, because the city of Calgary and Mayor Jody Gondek has still refused to call for a ceasefire.
Shame.
So, we are calling on Jody Gondek, Danielle Smith, and Justin Trudeau to do what, and I've been saying this every week, the bare minimum to have any claim to a moral human standing, and call for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, is what we're calling for. So, and many of you will know that the killing has sort of stopped for a little while now. There's been this temporary pause that they're calling it. I don't know about all of you, but that is nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough. Not satisfactory at all.
And they're still killing in the West Bank.
And they're still killing in the West Bank. Thank you. That is nowhere near satisfactory. We are calling for, first of all, a full and permanent ceasefire. A permanent ceasefire. And, I mean, they're saying, as it stands, the bombs are going to start falling again this week. They could start falling again tomorrow. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And we're going to continue to be here, because this has not ended. And if those bombs start falling again next week, you better believe we're going to be out and even angrier next week. You've paused this genocidal killing, which should have never happened in the first place. End it permanently. And the government in this country has the power to pressure that, and it's not doing it. So we're calling for a full and permanent ceasefire. We're calling for the full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. Full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. We're calling for a complete end to the siege on Gaza, a complete end to the blockade, and an opening up for humanitarian supplies, much desperately needed humanitarian supplies, to be freely allowed into Gaza, freely, with no restrictions. And we're also calling for those responsible for this genocide to be tried in front of the International Criminal Court. Including Israeli, American, and Canadian government officials who have been complicit in this killing. This is nowhere near enough. If they think that this pause is going to stop people from coming out, what do we say to that? What do you say to that? Are you going to go home because of this pause? Or you already given your answer? You're already given your answer. You're right here. You're out here right today. Yeah? Are you going to go home next week? No. The week after that? No! You gonna let the snow stop you? No! That's what I like to hear. We're not gonna let anything stop us. We're gonna be here demanding complete withdrawal, complete end to the genocide, criminal charges for those responsible, rebuilding of Gaza, which, by the way, as someone pointed out to me today, Israel should be footing the bill for all of that. Israel should definitely be footing the bill for the rebuilding of Gaza after they've gotten their soldiers out of there, those murderers. Yeah? And we are calling for an end, a complete end to not only the genocide in Gaza, not only the blockade of Gaza, but to the entire apartheid and occupation system that has been imposed on the Palestinian people for 75 years. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. There's no going back. There's no going back with this apartheid state. The entire world sees what it really is. We are demanding the liberation of Palestine, and we are not going to stop short of that. We're going to be here every week, for as long as we have to be.
Free Palestine!
Yeah. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
I also want to say that we stand united with our Palestinian, Arab, Jewish, Indigenous, and all brothers and sisters who have come out in denouncing the Israeli state-sponsored terrorism and the genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank. Oh yes, one other note that we should point out is this hostage release. I mean, take note of who the hostages being released are. Take note of the people that Israel's releasing, yeah? These women and children that Israel has kept for years. That didn't start on October 7th. Israel's had thousands of Palestinian political prisoners, including children, kept without trial. Yeah, I'm not jumping for joy celebrating at the release of a fraction of them. We're all happy to see them out. Yeah, but there's a serious problem in the way this is being reported. Yeah, as if there's some equality here. You know, the Palestinians get a few Israeli hostages. I'm glad to see them safe and released as well. But we need to be talking about the fact that Palestinian political prisoners have been rotting in Israeli prisons for decades, including children, on trumped-up charges. So don't let the media tell you that, frame this in any other way. We need all of those prisoners out. Every last Palestinian political prisoner out of Israeli jails. Every last one. Without conditions. Every last one. Now more than ever, it's important for us to start putting our money where our mouth is. And I have to say, it's no coincidence that this pause is taking place during Black Friday weekend. You see, the Palestinian boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement has been a real threat to Israel, not a violent threat. In fact, the opposite. It's been a non-violent threat, which is maybe even scarier to the Israeli state because it can't demonize it. Yeah? This movement of international economic support for the Palestinians by boycotting, divesting from, and sanctioning the Israeli state really does make a difference. And I have a feeling in the coming years, it's going to be a real period of boycott, divestment, and sanction. Let me tell you, after what we've seen, I ain't ever buying anything on that list again. Not a single thing. Not a single thing. Yeah, this is the time now. So, we want to encourage you all, know where your dollars are going. Boycott the companies that are supporting Israeli apartheid and the ongoing genocide. There's a website called boycott.thewitness.news, which is a great resource for searching out which companies are BDS friendly. I know there's all kinds of lists. People always tell us, which list do I use? Different lists say different things. We're recommending this one. So our resource table over there has some resources on what exactly this website is. It's an excellent website, very comprehensive. There's also a website called whoprofits.org, which investigates corporate connections to the Israeli occupation and apartheid. That's whoprofits.org. Head over to the resource table if you want any more information about specifics, if you want to know these websites, get the links and stuff like that. All right, now I promised you I was going to address what happened last week. Last week, a group of our protesters were attacked by the Calgary police. Now, I have to say, any baseball fans here? That's 2 strikes for the Calgary police. That's 2 strikes, all right? Hey, it's one thing you arrest me, but don't mess with these people. Yeah, don't mess with these people. And it's totally unacceptable. And frankly, nothing justifies what we saw. Nothing that any of the protesters did justifies that kind of police behavior, right? So, they, as many of you have seen the videos that happened in that intersection up at 4th and McLeod, the police assaulted a pregnant woman and children. They put one kid in hospital. Shameful, utterly shameful. We are expecting a better standard of behavior from the police today. Now we do need to keep ourselves safe. So for that reason, over at the resource table, we have produced a leaflet, which is a sort of know your rights leaflet. Basically, it lays out what your protest rights are. What your rights are in relation to police at the demonstration, what to do if you're approached by police, what to do if you're arrested. If you want one of those, if you have any concerns, go over to the resource table. There's a few hundred leaflets for anyone who wants them, laying out your rights. The flip side of the leaflet also has some resources for anyone who has faced either police misconduct or discrimination at work. I know people all around the world have been facing employment discrimination, people losing their jobs, that kind of thing, for supporting Palestine. If any of you have been affected like that, head over to the resource table and grab yourself some resources that are going to help you. There's some excellent organizations that are able to provide you with support if you faced any of that. All right? Now let's remember this is not happening in a vacuum. There are efforts at every level to suppress what we are doing here, to scare us away from here, to scare people away either through threats of violence, through threats of intimidation at work, through threats of losing your job, through all kinds of threats. So I want to ask you, is anyone getting scared away by it?
No!
Is anyone going to stop being here?
No!
Are we going to stand up in the face of whatever opposition we face and demand an end to the genocide in Gaza? And demand a free Palestine in our lifetimes? All right, that's what I like to hear. Make some noise! All right, y'all have heard enough from me. I'm going to start introducing our speakers now. So, to address what happened last week, we've got Maryam Qureshi. She had a good view of what happened. She's a researcher who studies Islamophobia and mental health in Muslim communities. She was present last week and will be speaking to us about the police brutality we all saw last week. Please welcome Maryam Qureshi, everybody.
Salam, everyone. I want to start by asking you a question. What did your family survive for you to stand here today? How many generations and civilizations fought wars, fought colonizers, fought oppressors, fought to be able to pray openly, to say things like Allahu Akbar? Yes. How many generations fought for you to be standing here today? We are all the legacies of resistance, and it is our responsibility to carry that forward. It is our responsibility to not become blind, hopeless, or morally bankrupt. So when they try to fire us for wearing a kufiya to work, when they try to arrest us for saying from the river to the sea, when they try to send police to assault our women and children, when they try to equate our loud, proud, strong Muslim communities to terrorists, remember it is because they're scared of your power and your legacy of resistance. We are here today to take up the space that is our right as citizens and humans. We condemn the men in power whose actions have no ethics, not the men whose clothes and beards we've been told to fear. We condemn the barbaric police officers who assault pregnant women and children, not Muslim men who pray out loud no matter where they are and protect their families. We condemn the uncivilized atrocities of the Israeli military, not Palestinian fathers kissing their dead children one last time before burying them. We do not apologize for protesting peacefully, and no amount of state silencing, surveillance, or intimidation will stop us. Politicians never seem to learn, do they? They make the same mistakes over and over again. With the indigenous people, with the Chinese people, with Japanese people, with black people, with Muslim people. Don't they know that a people of faith cannot be broken? A people of integrity cannot be bought. And the people for Palestine will not be silenced. From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free!
I want you to listen really closely. White supremacist convoy protesters were allowed to cause disruptions for hours every day for weeks on end without facing the kind of police brutality that we have. Why? Maybe it's because our police train with the IDF. Maybe it's because our pensions come from investments in Israel. Maybe it's because last year Canada made $2.2 million in arms trades with Israel. Maybe it's because we have 3 weapons manufacturing companies in Calgary. Maybe it's because MPs go to Israel on all expense paid trips every single year. The fact that police are able to make so many arbitrary and violent protests when it comes to us, to Muslims and Palestinians, the fact that our mayor hasn't said a word, it's because Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian racism operate at the highest levels of our government and all of our institutions. So your loudness is powerful because it is exposing the hypocrisy and racism of our government. It is no mistake that each and every one of you is here today and you all have a unique role to play in the liberation of Palestinians. You weren't put in Palestine, but you were put here, and your eyes were open, and your heart was softened, and your willpower was strengthened, so use it. Okay, I know my time is up, so I'm gonna end in a minute here. Answer this. Are we scared of being loud today?
No!
Are we scared of praying wherever we are when the time for prayer comes?
No!
Are we scared of marching?
No!
Are we scared of standing up for our brothers and sisters dying in Palestine?
No!
Are we scared of protecting our women and children when police brutalize them?
No!
Are we ashamed of having men strong enough to stand up for their communities?
No!
Are we afraid of coming back here every single weekend, even after our families are assaulted and taken to the hospital by people who are public servants and meant to protect them?
No!
Okay, last call to action here. I just want to end by saying anyone who is affected in any way by what happened last weekend or by publicly showing their support for Palestine, we want you to email muslimcommunityresponse@gmail.com. Again, that's muslimcommunityresponse@gmail.com. We also have flyers that I think you can pick up from the resource table with this info on it. It doesn't matter if you were physically affected by what happened, by police brutality, by shoving, if you're emotionally affected by witnessing it, no matter what it is, we want to flood them with complaints. because that's how we're going to make change. So please email us or pick up a sheet over at the table over there. Thank you.
Invite him to speak again because he has an important legal development to tell us about concerning the Canadian government. Please welcome Tamer Javad, everybody.
Before getting to that, I just want to talk a bit about the double standards that we have. And I'm sure all of us have been witnessing that. So the Guardian posted saying the hostages to be freed are women and children. And the Palestinian prisoners are also women and people aged 18 and younger. Shame them. And shame on all mainstream media doing the same thing. They are dehumanizing my people. Shame on them. I was finally able to get in touch with my sister this morning after almost a week. As I said last time, she's pregnant. And there are no hospitals in northern Gaza now that are operating. So I asked her to go to the south. And they went. And after they went there, I called her again. And she, in summary, she told me, I was about to deliver in the way to the south. Because how scary it was. The terrorists, the Israeli terrorists, asked all people who were crossing to just look left. Not front, not right, just left. Imagine people carrying their children, their belongings, and just looking left all the way on their way to the south. Shame on them. They asked a mother who was feeding her infant to turn her infant's face to the left. Can you imagine that? Shame on them. So as I said, we are not going to be silent. We are going to take it to the highest level. So I would like to update you that a collective of Canadian families, individuals, and permanent residents with relatives in Gaza who have been killed, injured, or affected by the Israeli army after the 7th of October, or who continue to be stranded in the occupied Palestinian territory, have put the Prime Minister of Canada, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Attorney General, the Commissioner of RCMP, Director of Public Prosecution on notice of intention to prosecute Canadian governmental and military officials for aiding war crimes and crimes against humanity committed by Israel in the occupied Palestinian territories. I'm part of it. I talked about it in Ottawa this week. They have to know that we have the right to sue them for being part of what's happening. We intend to prosecute where there is evidence of participation for complicity in crimes already committed and in order to prevent legal actions for future crimes. We demand the Canadian government immediately issue a public statement condemning Israeli breaches of international law, including breaches that amount to international crimes. 2, ask each government official that has encouraged or supported war crimes in occupied Palestine to publicly rescind their statements, insist that Israel complies unequivocally with its obligations under the international law, call for immediate ceasefire, call for an immediate end to the Gaza blockade, the Israeli occupation of Palestine, and the crime of apartheid imposed on the Palestinian people by the Israeli government. Free, free Palestine!
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 Call for immediate access of unimpeded humanitarian aid to Gaza. Impose an immediate arms embargo on Israel. Impose economic sanctions on all Israeli government and military officials who are directing Israeli attacks on Gaza and West Bank, and who have declared Israel's intention to conduct those attacks without giving any intention to the international law. Take all steps necessary to facilitate the immediate evacuation of Canadian citizens and Canadian permanent residents and student visa holders stranded in Gaza, as well as the evacuation of non-Canadian relatives of Canadian citizens and permanent residents. We are preparing to commence litigations or intervene and cooperate in proceedings in all available jurisdictions, including Canada, the International Criminal Court, and other third-party national jurisdictions, according to the principle of universal jurisdictions and any other possible judicial avenues. So this is what we are currently doing, and we are going to continue doing that. We are not going to stop until what has been happening in Palestine stops. Finally, free, free Palestine!
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 Thank you very much.
All right, I've got a couple announcements to make before we move on with our speakers. First of all, can I get all of the people who are on the speaking list, again, to make their way over in this direction? Okay, we have a young man named Adnan who's going to be speaking. If he can make his way up here. Yeah? Where are you at, Adnan? Your dad, Abulk is looking for you. Adnan, come over to the speaker, all right? Okay. A lot of people have been asking for where they can find flags and keffiyehs. We've got a few people who have them here today. First, Amanda Traya has flags. If Amanda Traya could come up to over here to where Saima is, and also Maisa Moore.
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
I just need a second to pull up my speech here. I'm a co-chair of Calgary's chapter of IJV, and I want to talk about safety and security. All of us here want freedom from violence, peace of mind for Palestinians, peace of mind even for Israelis. We see a permanent ceasefire as a critical first step to achieving these goals. A first step. IJV welcomes a pause as an interruption to the horror of the past month and a half. But as Jews across Turtle Island, from IJV to JVP to If Not Now, we say a pause is nowhere near enough. A pause for a few days is not peace, not a time to relax, not when Israel promises to continue bombarding Gaza as soon as the pause ends. A pause of 4 days is nothing compared to 48 days of relentless bombardment, over 15,000 Palestinians killed, Israelis' genocidal campaign of occupation, apartheid, settlement, siege, and bombardment achieves nothing but mass grief. The IDF does nothing but needlessly terrorize Palestinian families and recklessly endanger the lives of everyone, including its own people. There will be no safety for Palestinians or Israelis until the Israeli government commits to long-term peace and restores Palestinian freedom without fences, upholds the right to return, releases every prisoner held without cause, and applies equal treatment to all under the law. We must demand not only a permanent ceasefire, but an end to military aid to Israel. And when politicians ignore our demands, we must back them up with dollars unspent. Every day, until Israel pays Palestinians their dues, we must boycott. Say it with me, boycott! Boycott! Hewlett-Packard, boycott! Boycott! Sabra, boycott! Boycott! Puma, boycott! Boycott! Ahava Cosmetics, boycott! Boycott! Israeli produce, boycott! Boycott! Siemens, boycott! Boycott! AXA Insurance, boycott! SodaStream, boycott!
Hamas! Hamas!
My final words to you all.
Hamas! Hamas!
Please stay safe. From Toronto to Berlin to Calgary, police are cracking down, and we need to keep protesting. But if we want safety here in Palestine and in Israel, we need to keep each other safe. Because who else will? Thank you. And never again for anyone.
Thank you. Okay. The next speaker I'm going to call up is Riyad Abu Salem, one of the leaders of the Palestinian community, well, within the Palestinian community. Please welcome Riyad Abu Salem, everybody.
Friends, Palestinians, friends of Palestine, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Before I begin, I want to ask the Palestinians in this community to come up here and stand with me, please. All the Palestinians, please come to the stage with me right now. Come on. Everybody who's Palestinian, come up here. We're going to send a message to this mayor. We're all Palestinians. All these people have been affected. There's some of them who've lost their siblings, their parents, their brothers, their sister, their homes, their land. And what is our mayor saying? What is our mayor saying? Arrest them. Just like the Israelis. we have a clear message. We have a clear message today. Palestinian lives matter. And we will not be silenced. And we will hold every single politician accountable for the 6,500 children that you have killed. Now, when you wear this keffiyeh, for the last 40 years, this has been a sign of what? Freedom! I want everybody to pull it out right now. Pull out your keffiyeh.
Oh God. Oh my. Take mine.
When you wear this, you're an ambassador to freedom. You are an ambassador to resistance. Everybody, fly your keffiyeh high. This is a symbol, Mayor Gondik, Justin Trudeau, Danielle Smith, that we are not going away. And don't worry, we won't pull this one out right now. Everybody, today when we march today, I want you to remember the 15,000. You hear me across the street? 15,000 people that have been killed. Shame! 6,500 children that have been killed. Shame! 10,000 political hostages that are still in jail. Shame! That's our message today. That's our clear message to these politicians. We're not going away. Thank you very much, everybody.
Right now, they need utility food and water. Right now, they need utility food and water.
Right now, they need utility food and water. Right now, they need utility food and water.
Just one last thing. For everybody that's a Palestinian, we have a quick register over here. Please sign up over here. We have an AGM that's going to be held next Saturday, and I want everybody to be involved. If you're a Palestinian, we have a registration set up over here. We're collecting names and numbers of all the Palestinians for a census for our community. Thank you very much, everybody. And free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Oh, thank you, Riyadh. I mean, look, we can see the clear difference, yeah? You look at the leaders of that group over there. They're standing there with music, celebrating the deaths of children. And we see the leaders of the Palestinian community here. Yeah, and then we see the leaders of the Palestinian community here come up, and they are nothing but class, nothing but strength, nothing but inspirational. This is the leaders of the Palestinian community here. Yeah? In our thousands and our millions, we are all Palestinians. In our thousands and our millions,
We are all Palestinians!
in our thousands and our millions.
We are all Palestinians!
Thank you. All right, we've got one last speaker. It's someone who was very directly affected by the events of last week. Last week, this young man's brother was put in hospital for standing against the genocide in Gaza. He was put in hospital by the brutality of a colonial police force. Please give him a very warm welcome, Adnan. And I'd like to get all the children from Gaza, all the kids from Gaza that are here, please come up to the stage or stay on the stage if you're already up here, yeah? Children from Gaza, come up. We need you up here right now, all right? And welcome Adnan, everybody.
children. Thank you for destroying my brother's dreams and becoming a policeman. Thank you for making him afraid of you. Thank you for making him cry every day. Thank you because you have shown us your true face.
Thank you. I love you all, man.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
My Palestinian cousins, I'm sorry. I'm sorry your childhood was taken away from you. I'm sorry the leaders strayed away from you. I'm sorry the world failed you. I'm sorry. Your pain is my pain. We are both children. But I wake up to an alarm clock and you wake up to the sound of bombs. I wake up to Mama saying, Adnan, you're gonna be late to school. But you wake up to your mama saying, hurry up, we need to move. I brush my teeth, you brush off the wounds. I wash my face, you wash off the blood. I go to school, you go to war. I watch the news, you are the news. I scream free Palestine, you scream for help. We are both children at the same age, but I'm privileged and you are oppressed. The thing that I could do is promise you. I promise that I will keep you in my prayers. I promise that I will stand up for you. I promise that I will raise my voice for you. I promise that I will never give up on you. I promise that you will be free. Until that time, don't give up. Stay strong, stay strong, stay strong. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Hey, hey! Hello! Israel has got to go!
Hey, hey! Hello! Israel has got to go!
1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a terrorist state!
Israel is a terrorist state!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar!
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Thank you, everybody.
Give it up for Adnan, everybody. This is the future. This is the future of the Palestinian movement right here. Yeah? It's beautiful. Adnan. All right. A few quick announcements. Hey, why don't we get some chants going for Ahmed too? He took a few punches for the movement last week. Yeah, let's get some chants for Ahmed too. Yeah, Ahmed. Y'all ready to march? All right. Few announcements before we get going. I need Chance and all of our volunteers really to get to where they need to be. Chance, I need you up here, wherever you are. We need you with the cart, getting the speaker system ready. I'm gonna ask people to bear with us for a few minutes while we get stuff sorted. This would be a good time to pray for anyone who wants to pray. Right, and a few housekeeping notes. Please listen closely to this, it's very important. We need a few minutes to get ready. Our banners and volunteer marshals need to be at the front of the procession. There's going to be a banner at the front. We ask everyone to please do not pass the banner at the front of the march. It helps us keep it organized, and organized means safe. Yeah? So I will announce the route once more. We're going north on McLeod. When we get to 5th Avenue, don't start moving yet. Please don't start moving yet. Wait for our group to get ready. But when we do move, we will be north on McLeod to 5th Avenue. We will turn right at 5th Avenue. We go across the bridge, turn left, double back on 4th Avenue across the 4th Avenue bridge. We will pause at McLeod and 4th, continue on to 1st Street, south to 8th Avenue, and then back on Stephen Ave, back to City Hall for the open mic. Everyone clear on that? Good. All right, I'll take your words for it. Please follow our 6 marshals who are at the front of the march with red flags, I think. If you have a walker or a wheelchair or require any assistance, please let our resource table team know. They're right over there. They can support you. Please do not yell anything profane or offensive. We have march leaders that will lead our chants. If you have a megaphone of your own, then you're invited to come up and meet up with the march leaders over here, so we can give you a list.